The best word for what's happening in America right now is radicalization.
In fact, it was all a pose. It was a sham identity designed to cloak a darker reality beneath.
USA! USA!
Within minutes of the march beginning, and the fury of these hardline Trump supporters was boiling over.
Now the Democrats are politicizing the coronavirus. You know that. Coronavirus.
The next president is going to inherit two things: a nation divided and a world in disarray.
Division, polarization, and hatred. We are more divided than we have ever been since the Civil War. The political discourse and violence that took place this year was more destructive to our nation's psyche than it has been to our nation's physicality. Political activists are more inclined to believe in conspiracy theories if a member of their political association loses power, as proven by Survey Sampling International, with a survey conducted to illustrate the amount of Democrats who believed in conspiracies after the 2016 election. This terrifying thought is no less common after the 2020 election. In fact, more people were prone to conspiratorial thinking this year than any recorded number for any US election ever. Social media has not gone without an impact on our nation. With a majority of the American populace inside, political discussion has seen an explosive boost. Social media has arranged one of the largest names for itself in terms of news distribution. In a research study done just this year, it was said we are more likely to hate people with opposing viewpoints, along with using words such as immoral and dislikable to describe those people. These feelings of hatred spiraled into races to see who could damage the other. For example, February of 2020 saw Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi tear up Trump's State of the Union address. In August of 2020, we saw former President Donald J. Trump threaten the Black Lives Matter protests with martial law. And just last month, we saw Republican Senator Mitch McConnell block the $2,000 stimulus package that was supposed to be issued to the American people before Christmas. Things are dire. Our union and our nation is entering a horrifying hypothetical of becoming a battleground led by Democrats and Republicans. There are ways of changing the future, though. Consuming multiple sources of news and researching profound topics can have a great impact on the political polarization plaguing our nation. The 2020 election was a sigh of relief for a majority of people in the US, and the road to healing is upon us. If we can put an end to polarization, we won't need a Senate majority and a House majority to pass bills. Vandalism of government officials will be something of the past. The only war we should ever fight is the war against polarization.
And we both went into our caucus, and coincidentally, we were approached by our caucus leaders with the same thing. It was raised as a discussion. Joe, it doesn't look good you sit next to John all the time. Swear to God. Same thing was said to John in your caucus. That's when things began to change for the worse in America. In the Senate. That's when it changed. What happened was, at those times, it was always appropriate to challenge another senator's judgment, but never appropriate to challenge their motive. When you challenge their motive, it's impossible to get to go. If I say you're doing this because you're being paid off, if I say you're doing this because you're not a good Christian, if I say you're doing this because you're this, that, or the other thing, it's impossible to reach consensus. Think about it in your personal lives. But all we do today is attack the oppositions in both parties, their motives, not the substance of their argument.